Welcome to NTT Data podcast series. My name is Imanis, and I'm very excited to be here today for this chat. We have Harish from AWS. Harish, welcome to the chat.
Thanks, Eamon, for having me here. Harish Layal. I'm part of the Worldwide Specialist Organization. I'm the worldwide lead for modernization, responsible for scaling modernization through our partner community.
Excellent. Let's get started. So we are NTT Data. We are a partner. One of the strategies that we are to now is putting AI on top of that, right? There's a lot of conversations about AI and how it's going to transform the strategies. Can you share a little bit of what you're seeing from your customers?
No, absolutely, Eamon. I think if you take a look at modernization, it's very different from migrations. You're dealing with a M cross N type of problem in which your source systems could be quite varied inside an enterprise and your outputs could be quite varied based on where the customer wants to be in the journey. And the only technology that can really help with that transition is AI. So you see a lot of investment from AWS in not only helping customers accelerate modernization and migrations through AI, or providing them environments and infrastructure and mature services or agentic AI services, as you saw in the launches this week, that can help them build new environments, new agentic AI systems that can address customer needs and drive growth forward for our customers. So quite an exciting space for us. We are seeing customers use products such as Transform quite actively, both from assessments to addressing full stack .NET type of modernizations or VMware or mainframe. I think some great releases this year, and we've got very exciting announcements that came out at reInvent as well. And I think this whole journey is going to only accelerate forward. The strategies that we see going forward are going to be tools-driven, agentic AI-driven modernizations as we go forward, and that's our focus area. Make it easy for customers to make that transition from legacy environments to modern environments and growth.
Could you talk to us a little bit about how AI and ML, is there a unified architecture happening with all these partnerships, also multi-cloud capabilities?
If you take a look at how AWS looks at AI, we're looking at AI as a foundational element of everything that customers do. I mean, I think we saw this 3 years ago with the advent of generative AI. The technology is so powerful that it can be used to address a wide variety of problems, from customer experience to developer productivity, staff productivity, to research and innovation, to modernization, to developing new innovative ways of being able to engage customers or address process issues within the enterprise. The reason why these technologies are really taking off is because with cloud, we're able to provide a price point and a volume that was not available to us before. So now you see this proliferation of AI. But in order to really realize the value of AI, what customers do need to do, they're realizing that while standing up a new AI environment in a sandbox is great, and we're providing tools for customers to be able to experiment, to be able to build new environments, and to be able to scale these environments such as Agent Core, there's also, customers want to be able to leverage all the differentiated capability and the data that they have in their enterprise. So you see these unified architectures. Customers are really deriving value from AI, are the customers who migrated their data pipelines, their AI and the analytics environments to cloud, and have created an integrated and coherent ecosystem of data analytics and AI to be able to scale things forward. A great example of that is Capital One. I mean, they took a serverless first stance a while ago. They're all in on AWS. Their data and analytics has been on AWS, and now they're beginning to start aggressively adopting AI in their customer operations and other operations to drive greater value and accelerate forward in the enterprise. You have to contextualize what we are seeing out there with how it might get applied within a customer's environment. And customers are quite concerned about obvious things: security, trust, being upfront for the customer. They're also looking at reliability. They're also looking at being able to place guardrails around what is being built so that their enterprise data is not out in the public. They're very, very keen on the return on investment, because the costs associated with what we're dealing with is not trivial, especially if someone's trying to really build everything on their own. And AWS is addressing all of those through the services that we're providing. So if you take a look at, we have like 3 layers of what we're providing to customers. First off is just infrastructure. Just if you saw the Trainium announcements that we've made, that provide a price point and a price to performance ratio, which is unparalleled in the industry. And that applies to both Inferentia as well as Trainium. And then the second layer is a set of services. This is Bedrock, Agent Core, where customers can take take advantage of all the LLMs and the technology. We're providing choice at that layer for customers to be able to pick whatever LLM they want to choose, the frameworks that they want to be able to choose, and be able to apply that to the use cases that they want to build. And then we have the agent core builder that we're providing to make it easy for customers to build these agents as well. And then as you rise above the stack, we're also providing customers with, as I said, frameworks, and then we're providing pre-built agents. We announced quite a few frontier agents this week as well. Now, coming back to the question that you had, what is very, very important engaging with a customer is the customer is really looking for is a proof of value. They want to see how the technology adoption that is likely to occur, and the transition is non-trivial. And therefore, if they're going to invest, how will they realize value in the business? So it's very important for us as AWS and for our partners to be able to address that very problem upfront for the customer. Perhaps a demo upfront that shows, hey, look, here's the promise of AI in the context of similar to what you might be able to achieve. Now let's pick a use case and do a proof of value to see how value can be derived from the technology in the context of your business. And then you can scale it with all the technologies that we provide, whether you're deploying it on Agent Core or you're modernizing your data environments. We're providing all of that to customers to be able to scale things forward.
So as a partner, we've been on the ride with AWS for a long time. How do we become better at helping the customer journey?
What we need help with from systems today is to be able to contextualize these technologies in a customer environment, in an industry environment. With the tools that we're providing, such as Agent Core, being able to engage customers early on with proofs of concept, proofs of value, to be able to contextualize the technology in the context of the business and the industry to deliver value to customer. I think that's where we need partner capability and repeatability of expertise. Then the second area would be in terms of migrations and modernizations. A lot of the value that you see in the enterprise is locked inside, some of the third-party logos, VMware, Microsoft, and others. And we're providing partners the tools to be able to help, agentic AI tools, such as Transform, to be able to help customers transition from those monolithic environments into modern cloud-native environments and agentic architectures that they can get to. And we need help from partners in doing that. Now, partners, in all fairness, have built out a lot of tools themselves using agentic AI and LLMs over the past few years. So you saw the release of composability. What we want to do with composability is provide partners the ability to take their native capabilities, their industry differentiated capabilities, combine them with AWS within a marketplace framework, and create agentic environments that can really handle really complex modernizations that need to happen. If you take a look at workloads in the enterprise, the easy work is done. The harder work is going to require some very sophisticated AI and industry knowledge to be able to address. I think that's the sweet spot for our partners to really operate. Both SIs and ISVs have the ability to be able to connect their tools within a composability framework to address those needs. On top of that, we launched AWS Transform Custom, which is an incredible capability. The number of use cases, as I said earlier, is immense inside the enterprise because we're dealing with an M-cross-N problem. And therefore, we've provided you with Transform Custom that can help an SI partner work with a customer to be able to train a model or a process on the specific framework transition that needs to occur. Let's say you want to go from Java to Go as a language, and it's not available readily. You can use Transform Custom to be able to create something like that, teach it a little bit and learns. And then you have an additional capability to add into the mix of tools that you have to accelerate customer outcomes. I wanted to revert back to what I said earlier. One of the things that customers are looking for is faster outcomes. So it's very, very important to engage the customer in an iterative way. It's not a big bang approach. Customers don't want to go there. They want to scale iteratively. So a proof of value, something taken into production, really operationalized, so that customers are trying to realize, how am I going to address customer experience? How am I going to address my internal operations? And they're trying to transition skill sets within the organizations as well. And we need help from partners in being able to help customers make that transition.
And what are you seeing in the talent, education, skills? Is that becoming big gap in the way of where we are and where we should be? Or do you feel like that the customers are able to take that leap, and knowing that, the same thing happened with cloud adoption like almost 20 years ago, right? They always complain about the talent gap.
In order to address this area, you see, motivated people leaning in to try to learn more about technologies that exist. At the same time, you hear organizations trying to drive learning mandates within their organization. We are providing a lot of training and certification via Skill Builder, as well as certification courses that customers can take advantage of. We also need help from partners to be able to help. I mean, at the end of the day, you can take a training to understand what's going on, or you can develop some experience, but the real experience comes from actually applying something to a project, to an outcome that you want to drive, to you really learn the tool. And a lot of these tools that are out there, they're quite interactive. And the way we are creating some of these, they have human in the loop. So there's a need to kind of learn your way through the exercise. In fact, we are using quite a few tools internally as well. New tools are being created internally all the time. We're very innovative teams that are doing so. But I think we need help from partners to be able to help customers make that transition, either come up with learning plans for their audiences or build tools internally that can be used. Because if you take a look at what we're doing with Quick Suite as an example, it's a very powerful tool, usable in many, many environments, from sales to customer experience to research to developing reports and things like to conducting analysis, sophisticated business analyses. Very, very compelling, but it requires a little bit of experience with the tool, a little bit of learning of the tool to really apply it to the context to derive value from that particular tool. So we do need help from partners. And projects that you do, what we would advise is, obviously there could be top-down mandates that you can drive if you need to take these trainings. So we experience those too. But at the same time, as you're working with partners, there's a method that I typically advise people to do. Every time you conduct a project, there are a few people inside the organization who are going to gain experience with the technology. They have an appreciation of the technology as well. And if you do that in the first iteration, you can split those teams in the second iteration and add new people to it. And that way you can drive skills. As you're scaling your projects and the impact of AI, you're also scaling knowledge of using AI, operating with AI, and scaling with AI within the enterprise as well. Also for customers who are hesitant, we're providing them, I think, a methodology called experience-based acceleration, which I think is a fantastic methodology. I think a lot of NTT teams use it as well, where you are bringing a customer, diverse people inside an organization, business, technology, finance, others, who may not be fully on board with adoption of such a dramatic change, into the same room, into a design thinking session to actually solve. The objective of that being is to deliver the partner, the customer, the experience of going through the modernization. And once they have that experience, the lights come on. Sure. It's amazing what we see within customer environments. They say, well, I want to do 2 more or 3 more. Some of our customers, large customers, have actually made EDA a part of the way they unlock value in the environment. When they get blocked somewhere, we need an EDA. It's great to see that kind of momentum going out with customers as well.
How does that enhance the value of adoption? Does it make it quicker? Does it make it faster? And does it just add complexity to the layer? What are you seeing?
It does add a level of complexity, and I think because you require a level of presence inside the sovereign cloud environment. If you see the launch that we have coming up in Germany is for Europe. Obviously, the set of services that are available within your environment is critical. So if you're trying to do something, and you're limited by what is available at that point in time, but there are real needs, and we are kind of investing, as you probably noted, we're investing quite heavily. We have a GovCloud instances in the US, which are quite robust and great for government use. And similarly, we have sovereign clouds that we're working on, as in the case of Germany, to be able to help customers in their specific needs that they want to be able to adopt stuff. And then obviously, I think you heard the news about AI factories, and I'm wondering, my thought went to how is that going to apply? And that's a very interesting play. I mean, what we're doing with Humane in Saudi Arabia is fantastic. If you want to create, if you have the money and you want to create your own AI factory and have all the AWS services inside your environment, go crazy, go wild. We have that too for you.
Tell me about how the agentic workforce is going to be essential.
I mean, today getting internet on a machine costs about $1 or something like that. The price change that has occurred over the years is absolutely tremendous. And I see that trend to occur with AI as well as we move forward. I think you saw that with the Trainium 4 announcement that we made. At the same time, you will have sophisticated environments that help you build and have choice. I mean, if you take a look at Bedrock, I love the service. It's got all the choice. You could choose. we launched almost 18 LLMs additional. So that brings it to, I think, about 40 LLMs that are available. So if you have a particular problem and anybody's created an LLM, it pretty much is available in Bedrock for you to work with and use Agent Builder to quickly get started and going. I see that to get richer.
Yeah.
Even in Bedrock, we have built guardrails, and also SageMaker. If you want to train your own model or customize your own model, Nova Forge, I thought was a very exciting announcement. There are customer environments that we see, especially in ISVs. I found a use case today where they will use third-party LLMs, foundational models, but they will also use they also are training their own LLMs for their specific business need to create the differentiated value that they want to bring to the customer. Nova Forge offers that capability. I expect more innovation to occur in that space, and and the innovation is going to occur where you're going to be able to do things a lot easier, a lot cheaper, a lot faster. And then the prevalence of agents that you're able to talk to, agents that are able to do the work for you, long-running jobs. You see already investment that we are making in that area. That will continue to happen. I think from a modernization perspective, I predict, and given having worked in this area and written some papers, I predict that partners and customers will have the ability to be able to assess their complex customer environment by connecting an agent to it, to be able to discover pathways to value.
Very nice.
To be able to correlate that with risk and investment costs, to be able to make good roadmap decisions. And I believe a lot of this will be automated in terms of kind of deriving the insight and the roadmaps before you actually embark on an execution. Right. We have a few early examples of that already, and I'm super excited about where that's going to take us, because it's going to take all this guesswork out of modernization out.
What kind of advice would you provide your customers or decision makers you're sitting on for, or even your own in AWS internal account execs that's, hey, these are things don't wait on? And then we'll wrap up, and I really appreciate some of your insights here.
The technology is so disruptive that's likely to have very long-reaching changes. I think we're at an inflection point, if I could use the overused term, in our industry. And I don't think you realize the power of what has been unleashed until you actually use and experience it. So I would encourage anyone who is hesitant with AI to actually go and use and experience it on your own. I think firsthand people are probably seeing that with ChatGPT, some of the agents that are already available. But also don't stop. I think keep on learning. I think as at AWS, learning is a constant thing for us as individuals today in the modern age. It's quite important. So learning, leaning into it, and investing time in learning about new tools and new innovation that's coming out. I expect the pace of innovation to get more rapid, things becoming more and more easier for people as well. So investing in learning, investing in this particular space, and also, using it to actually develop some experience with it, and then go as deep as your motivation takes you. I think the future is quite bright.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, thank you, Arish, for joining us. This has been a great, insightful conversation, and thank you for all your partnership and help.
Thank you, Eamon.